All right, good evening. Welcome to the Community Preservation Meeting, February 9th, 7 o'clock, a little later this evening. I will call the meeting to order at 7:05.
Motion to open.
Seconded.
All right, we'll do a roll call vote since we've got some online participants this evening. Kim?
Yes.
Linda? Patrick?
Aye.
Me, yes. Mike?
Yes.
DJ?
Aye.
Leah?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Elaine?
Yes.
All right. First up, we have presentations from applicants and Q&A on applications for the fiscal year '26 projects. And they are in alphabetical order, so. First up is the acknowledgement signage. Mike, I believe this one's yours, if you'd like to
Yes.
take it away.
Okay, so the idea was this project was to make up for the fact that many of the projects in the past do not have any signage on them, recognizing that they were funded by CPA funds. And so we were told by the Community Preservation Coalition that we had to that we put in a project for this. So this project is potentially funding signs for all of the previous projects going back to 2007 that are outdoor kind of things. These aren't all the projects, and many of the locations on the list are multiple projects in that particular area, but kind of narrowed it down to about 27 of them or so, and the approximate cost estimate that I received for the signage was $2,000 each. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting from the vendor who was supposed to give me an estimate and picture of what the signs were going to look like. So I don't have that yet. But the signs are pretty basic. The price would include installing them, so we wouldn't have to do any work. We just tell the company where they go and the location at the particular area, and they would do that. So I think,
Do you have an approximate of what the signs are? Are they metal sign with vinyl letters? Are
They're-
they engraved signs?
no, they aren't metal, they're vinyl signs. And, let me see. Yeah, unfortunately. Vinyl signs, and that's all I've got with me right now, unfortunately.
Okay. Now, I'm just going to rip off a couple of questions real
Sure.
quick, and then we'll open it up to the floor. It's $2,000 a sign, so if some of these projects we knock off the list, it's minus $2,000 for every one of them.
Right.
Because I look at the last ones from 2023 on, all that should be accounted for in those project budgets.
Yep,
So I feel like we should hold the applicants of those projects accountable to provide their own signs.
that's 9.
I like the idea of them all being the same, but
Yes.
in the same token, I don't want
Well-
to spend money twice.
No, but we can give them the
But-
design and the company, and
Yeah, and frankly,
know.
we should do that going forward so that all the
yes,
signs
that's
match.
what's supposed to have been done for like the past 8 years, but people didn't necessarily do it.
Yeah, so I guess I would say any projects that are still open,
Yep,
it's on the projects to get it and not separately as far as the closed project goes, and if they never got them, okay, well, we're, you know,
So that eliminates 9, so that gets us down to,
18,000 right off of it.
yeah, right.
So that's everything in 2023 forward?
Yeah. I'll open it up to the floor if anybody else has any questions. Kim, anything?
No.
Linda?
No.
Patrick?
No, I think I'm good.
DJ?
Yeah, when we go through the final process, if it gets approved through town meeting, will you get additional, do we need to get 3 quotes here because it's CPA stuff? Or
No,
will we get
not
additional,
for-
will we get additional quotes to see if they can get a cost down? When you say PVC board, plastic board with probably vinyl letters on it, $2,000 with installation, just seemed a little high. So I didn't know if we were looking anywhere else to just get a second option to see if there's any other.
Well, it also includes installation, which is.
But
that's-
PVC, I mean, you're talking a couple nails and a screw. I mean, it's depending on where they're putting it. If they're putting a post up, things like that, I can understand. But,
Yeah, I think I need to see a sample before I could comment on
Well,
that.
yes, I mean, this company should be giving us
But I mean,
description.
Fair point by
But
DJ. I mean,
I-
getting it priced by multiple vendors.
I would
wouldn't-
love to get multiple vendors, but we can't. I can't even get one vendor to respond. I mean, we just have to do it.
I can put you in touch with the guy that made the banners for us. He's signed
Yeah,
company.
send it to
He's
me.
pretty responsive.
Send it to me. I mean, if this person, this company doesn't respond to me, I've got to go get something from somebody.
No, agreed.
Okay, terrific.
Leah, any questions?
No.
Ed?
No.
Elaine?
Nope.
All right. I guess we'll move on from that. Next up, we have the Bagnell basketball courts and play area. Your choice. We'll keep you hostage for all your projects, and then we'll move on. That way we don't have to keep going back.
Whatever works for the board. I appreciate the privilege to be here before you this evening. With me is Arthur Marcos. He is our highway superintendent. For this particular project, we were approached by well, she's also currently, I guess, the president of the basketball recreation, but she is also a mother here in town, and she and some other parents had some concerns about the current condition over at the Bagnell Elementary School, specifically being the basketball courts. So she had asked whether or not there was anything that we could do to enhance the basketball courts over at the Bagnell Elementary School. So when we were taking a look and trying to figure out funding sources, grants, and other opportunities, we said CPC could be a potential option if that's what she would like us to pursue. So after sitting down with her and figuring out exactly what it was that she wanted to see at that particular location, working with a consultant over at Sports Court who has also helped us with the design and installation of the tennis pickleball courts over at the Pines. We had sat down and kind of explained what we were looking for, and he came up with the attached design that you'll see in the actual application. So it includes making it a full court. It also includes adding a guardrail for additional protection, and it also includes creating a little play area that's a little bit more defined with Foursquare and other games that you can play. It does include parking. I do know that the committee at one point had stated that there was some concerns about reducing the cost and wanting to have that particular element of the project removed. We can remove the parking if that's what the CPC would like. However, there is no cost saving other than the actual striping of the parking spaces themselves. The design pushes the actual basketball court backwards, so we are going to need to pave that area. So there is no additional savings if we were to eliminate that portion of the project. But we're welcome to do so if the CPC would like us to. Not sure, Arthur, if you have any additional information regarding this particular project.
Oh, so we, yeah, we did definitely, I know there was some inquiries, why wasn't, it remains asphalt, but we chose to look at a concrete surface, it's much more durable, probably lasts double the time, maybe over 30 years last. Current court that you see out there has fallen apart slowly, it's a lot of cracking, and it didn't last, and it's made of asphalt. So if we're gonna do it, we get definitely an upgraded surface, it lasts longer. It's obviously much thicker too, probably a 6-inch pour. And then also, the parking in the front, we were looking at that because also that asphalt is falling apart too, and that would be a good enhancement if that's the direction you guys chose to go.
And lastly, that does tie into a capital improvement project that we currently have with the Bagnell Elementary School. We have set aside about, I believe it's about $130,000 or $140,000 as part of a capital improvement to redo that drive and the parking lot in front of the Bagnell Gymnasium,
Which parking lot?
the one that's in front of the actual gymnasium, or the cafeteria area on the side.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it's like the side but not the front?
Just
You
in,
know, it's kind of like an L of parking?
Where the buses park, over by the
drive
small
in and you
gym.
go left.
Right.
Where
Right
the
in
buses are and the transformer.
Yes.
Okay.
That was never originally paved under the original project,
Okay.
because I was the vice chair for that project, so,
The many hats you've worn.
but it's worn. Is it okay if I ask a couple
Yeah,
questions?
go ahead.
Take it away.
Okay, I assume that under this new concrete basketball court, the contractor will do proper soil preps and compaction?
Yeah, I haven't not seen the spec, but yeah, that's typical construction, at least 6 inches below that, we'll put in some suitable material.
Yeah.
And that might be the core of the issue out there now, that might be very sandy, sand probably shifts.
I don't know what was done before, but farther back is where, when we did the addition for the Bagnell, we mined nice gravel back there.
Yeah.
So that's available. And then, how many parking spaces are you talking about adding?
I don't think there is adding more, is it? I think there's not more than,
Or just replacing?
I think it's 3. Is
yeah,
that?
3 or 4. I'm not,
Bring it up now.
Okay, and then what is there a warranty on like the lines that they're gonna put on for the basketball court? Is this X number of years?
I think typically those should last at least 3 years. That's typical what a lines in the elements would last. But
Okay.
I don't think they would give us a guarantee on that. We'd have to replace that if that was.
Yeah, but I just was hoping to get something.
Yeah,
I believe it's a year.
yeah, they give us a year warranty anyways under their contract, but I think they're only designed to last 3 years.
Yeah, okay,
Just because how thick it goes down.
okay.
And
Thank you.
4 parking spaces.
Yes, yeah, 4.
I'm all
Linda,
set.
any questions, Linda?
No.
Patrick?
Yeah, I have a couple. I think one of the concerns about the parking area was safety, right? So you've got cars around where these kids are gonna be and whatnot. And what I wonder, if you say that the cost is sort of de minimis, if you do it this way or if you do it that way, what about having that be more play area for the kids instead of parking spaces?
We can definitely do that. We
Yeah.
are, again, we're taking our guidance. This project was brought to us by residents. It wasn't necessarily something that we developed internally. So we were just helping navigate the project for them. And in listening to their feedback, one of the parents were saying that, oftentimes she'll bring her older child to go play, and then she'll stay in the car with her younger child while they're napping. So she wanted to be close enough to the play area so that she could see the child playing, but yet she could stay
Right.
in the car with the other child, and that they would be using the basketball courts, and then they'd have to park over there, and then they weren't comfortable with the children walking. But if it's the pleasure of the board to remove the parking in its entirety, it's not a problem. It's just, again, the design was suggested to us by those parents.
Well, if it's getting paved anyway, I mean, you might be able to use it to increase the play area for the kids too, which would also be a benefit.
100%.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right, Mike, anything?
Yes. So as far as the budget, you've got three things here: guardrail, parking lot milling, and the concrete basketball courts, but I don't see anything about signage or contingency in there.
That's price should be in the estimate included.
It really should be broken out.
The contingency is in there.
Where?
It is there.
Oh, sorry about that. But the signage,
No, we have, my itemized is total plus 10% contingency.
But you're correct, it does not include the signage.
What, are you talking about the particular CPC signage?
Correct.
$2,000?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If that's required, then we can add it in.
Anything else?
no.
DJ?
Yeah, I have just a couple things. I know it was mentioned last meeting, and I don't know if we were looking into it, but it was stated previously that parking was not ever permitted prior to in that area. When we use it, majority of people that I see, there is where the mill and paving existing lot is, where the old Foursquare stuff. I've never seen really any cars over there. It's just kind of a play area, overflow. The parking is typically on the other side of the basketball court and as well as on the basketball court, right, because it's not really used, up into where the school garden is, right? But a lot of parents will park up to, where the chain is usually put up there because they don't want cars driving back there. So I think leaving the parking out of there is fine, right? Or just not lining things, right, to save the cost there. Because there's plenty of parking to go over there, like you said. Maybe there's some parking spots we put there for mothers with infants signage or something like that, right? It's just parking for minivans with parents that are there have children sleeping or something like that. I just wanted to call that out because I know that someone had mentioned it, there was no parking there originally meant to be there, but we do see parking there. Arthur, for the concrete, that's installed, will they be putting I would assume, but just making sure, expansion joints, things like that, to make it last longer? Will we have our frost heaving, things like that?
Yeah, I think, and I'm not sure if we have anything in town that's comparable, but it should be at least 8 different pieces at
Okay.
some point, but I mean, it depends on how they pour them. I have not seen the actual specs yet from them, since we're in the planning phase,
Yeah.
but that definitely is something we should consider.
And my last thing is there any concern with the dark coloring on the concrete for like ground heat? If kids are gonna be playing on this, do we have to concern with any type of
That's a good point. I
temperature?
mean,
I know it's blue, dark blue.
Yeah.
Is the school colors or the blue and gold, but is putting a dark color on there any type of, when it gives off that excess heat in the middle of summer, when typically, I didn't know if that's a thing.
no, and I mean, that's
Just
something we
a
can,
thought.
like, we're not married to those colors.
Yeah.
So that's something we can look into, and that's definitely a good concern. I mean, obviously, a road is black, that gets really hot, and it creates, hot pockets during the summertime. But, yeah, we can look at lighter colors. That's a good idea.
And I'm not opposed to the color, as
Yeah.
long as it doesn't pose a safety hazard.
No.
Right, if kids are on there, if they're with bare feet or whatever, right, they're running around. Or say fire department comes down there and they're spraying, it's a hot summer day, and I don't know. You just wanna,
Does painting in a color add any level of protection, or is it strictly aesthetic? Because, light gray concrete seems like it might be the way to go, go with some blue and yellow lines.
No, I mean, typically, you wanna, from the ones I've used, and I've designed on asphalt, it's kind of just a design element. It doesn't really seal anything.
Right.
It's not necessarily, but I think it makes it definitely pop and looks, but it does, I think, especially concrete, because concrete is porous, it'll add a little bit of a sealer to it, but it's not, I don't think it's anything that's required.
Fair enough.
I'm good.
Leah, any
Thank you.
questions?
No, I was thinking, I was asking, going to ask that question, what's wrong with concrete colored?
I think it's more of an aesthetic, and it kind of, it'll look, and the kids might like it too, it'll be a cooler type of, and it's definitely not, doesn't add that much cost to it.
That was my other question,
Yeah.
is there a cost difference?
Yeah, from what I've seen, that's, you kind of want to do that, because you have to line it anyways, and then they'll just kind of fill in different sections of the court.
Is there lighting there?
No, there's no lighting there.
So it's only, something that can only be used during the daytime?
Yeah, I think it's dusk to dawn.
Yeah.
There's signage over there.
All right, Ed, any questions?
No.
I have a question.
Okay.
Just not to belabor it, but it was brought up about the area for parking. If there's a parent there with their younger child in a car, would it be something to consider to have like a safety person look at the proximity of the possibility of cars parking there when children are playing? I'm just wondering, I guess that safety piece came to my mind too, in terms of, a vehicle there and children running and playing. And I'm just wondering if that might set up some potential danger.
Well, there is a playground there now, it's fenced in, correct, right?
Right, but I'm looking at when they were talking about parking by, if I'm looking at this map correctly, where it says mill and pave existing parking lot, is that where the cars would be parking?
Yeah,
Am
that's.
I reading this wrong?
Well, yeah, that's what right now, there's 4 square gates
Right.
marked out there, so you'd remove those, and then you'd put those in the new play area that's behind the basketball courts. So there'll be no reason for kids to be hanging out there, and then people would park there. From my understanding, when you bring your kid there now, you park on top of those anyways? Where do people park now when they go
No.
there? They park on the outside and walk in?
Well, you know what, I was a teacher there, and I wasn't often out back after school hours, but I'm just thinking about like the ball going over or children running out to get something. It was just kind of a reaction I had to having a vehicle that close to a play area.
And we can, like we said, we're not married to the idea in terms of having the parking spaces, so we do not need to include them and can continue on with the design as is, since it will need to be paved regardless and
Right.
not have the parking at all, if it's become a safety issue and a concern for the board.
Yeah, the asphalt is falling apart, so it should be replaced. Whether you want to put parking back on it doesn't have to be. From my understanding, people now go there and they park beyond the chain link and walk in. Is that how that works?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they park up on that dirt hill, if you're looking at that,
Yeah.
the proposed area, that dirt area prior to also the current basketball court is sometimes. I very rarely see where we see that, Elaine, that mill and pave existing parking lot.
Yeah.
I very
Yeah.
rarely see a car or two over there.
Yeah.
Usually kids are playing over there, but that's all the playground itself, and then the basketball court would have guardrails as
Yeah.
well. So it's kind of just an empty area, whether you choose to line it or not.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if you don't want to encourage people to park there, you don't have to line it. But what the rationale when we were putting this together was thinking that right now people are parking anywhere and everywhere. Why not formalize and put some spots there so people know where to park, put a handicap spot there? But if you think that might be dangerous, you don't have to, but you definitely have to address the pavement that's failing there.
Can I ask about the fences and what the idea is there? Like, is the idea that it's going to be somewhat similar to like what you have at the Pines, or?
So the guardrail fence is necessary for a safety perspective, just because in case some car, vehicle, and/or anything was moving, there is like a clear delineator. And then
Yeah.
on the other, the backside, again, it's to keep the ball from rolling down and
Right,
getting
yeah.
into the other area.
So those are like guardrails, basically.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
I think
The back one's not, the
So,
front
yeah.
one is.
The back one's like a big.
It's like an
large
actual, like, fence.
No, there's 2 fences, one on each end of the basketball court, and then one and then also a guardrail.
Guardrails on the long sides of the rectangle.
Guardrail and then a big
And then
fence.
large fences on the other to prevent, to give you a
Ball from
backstop.
coming. Yep,
gotcha.
essentially, yes.
Okay.
I just have a quick question. On that, where it says mill and pave existing parking lot, is that just pavement island in the middle of nowhere, or does that connect to a roadway somewhere?
It connects to the entryway into the
Yeah.
play area. There's like a roadway.
There's a roadway,
Yeah.
you can't really see it.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
if
it's
you-
paved all the
if
way
you looked
back.
at, if you looked at, it's a road that leads into this playground. So that's what the rationale was, people would drive into it on the weekends, park their car, take their child out, go to the playground, go to the basketball court. That's instead of parking near the school or in the dirt,
Yeah.
that's why.
Because it is closed off during the school day. No one's allowed back there.
And the guardrails would prevent cars from parking on the basketball court,
Exactly.
which
That's-
is good. That's been a problem.
Yeah, so that's what it's there
Yeah.
for.
Are there any afterward maintenance type things that are different than what is being done now? I know that was a question of the board last time we met.
Well, no,
Right.
once it's installed, it's installed. I mean, but what happens is you'd have to reline it. Once, make sure the nets are still intact. We do have that issue here down at Pines. We have to watch those rims and nets. The fence is gonna be up. That's kind of it.
It's pretty low maintenance.
Yeah.
And compared to what it is now, pretty de minimis.
Yeah.
Okay.
DJ brought up a point, or maybe it was Patrick, about the guardrails so no one can park on the new basketball court. I only see it at the end where the parking lot is, and I'm thinking you could I'm just picturing a bunch of kids going down there and driving on there, turning their headlights on, trying to play basketball at night, not having some level of either bollards or a guardrail on the long side of the basketball court.
Well, yeah, you could also, put some boulders or something there that would stop.
Oh, boulders are free. I like the way you think.
Well, I'm saying what happens is now you'll be talking, we're just gonna have a giant rectangle fence like we do over at the Pines, so that's the next step. Here is kind of be open into the.
Yeah, you nailed it with boulders. Sold.
And Adam, that
Can you
has,
draw me 4 big rocks right there?
Adam, that has quite a bit of a pitch there as well.
Yeah, I'm not
So,
familiar with the
yeah,
area,
You'd have
so-
to really work, you typically just kind of one car deep and they just back in or whatnot. But I can see what you're saying, boulders definitely would help. And, but yeah, that pitches uphill towards where
Towards the
this,
woods.
right where
This way.
right near new fence, where the new fence's pixel is, that's where the garden is, right up there, and that's up on a hill. So it's
Gotcha.
got a good little pitch to it.
Okay. All right, got nothing else on that one. Anybody else?
Adam, I
Tim?
have
Yep.
one more comment. Since it's going to be concrete, concrete does not heat up the same as asphalt. It maintains the ambient temperature of the ground. So with it being painted even a darker color, I don't think you're going to get any sort of temperature rise versus having to hop, skip, and jump in bare feet going across the hot top.
That's true, yeah, that's true. Asphalt does absorb a
Yeah,
lot.
asphalt absorbs, concrete does not.
Yeah.
Concrete absorbs the standard 56, 57 degrees of the earth.
That's true.
No, that's it.
Anybody else? All right, let's move on to the next one. What do you want to,
So the next one I have up is the Shanahan Fields restroom. So again, this was a project that was brought forward to us by the Groveland Youth Soccer and Pawtucket Youth Soccer Leagues in terms of trying to update the bathrooms that they have over at the Pines. As we've discussed in previous meetings, the bathrooms that were constructed are more of an RV type style restroom. They don't connect to sewer, and there's been a lot of issues with the facilities as they are. They've also been installed for over 10 years now, so obviously they've taken a beating over the years. So we're looking to move forward with a design that would allow for better maintenance. It would hook up into sewer, and also would be ADA accessible, including a walking path from the actual parking lot to the restroom facilities as well to be ADA compliant.
Start with Kim, any questions?
No, I saw the design the last meeting, looked good. We'd asked a question about possibly making it 2 toilets instead of 1. And I thought somebody might be looking to get an answer on that.
Well, if the price would just go up, we can do 2 toilets. I don't think that would be an issue. What do we have now? We have, 2 toilets in,
In the actual thing for future hookups, I believe you and Steve McPherson had talked about that.
yeah. I mean, if it's a plumbing issue, it can be plumbed for that. We can look at different designs from the
Manufacturer.
manufacturer to do different alignments of the, because it looks like there is room in there, but we
Yeah,
have
because
to.
you're gonna basically do 1 drop line to the existing
Yeah.
sewer on Main Street.
Yeah, that's the goal. Well, what's gonna happen is we're gonna be putting a water line in there. And as we're doing it, we have to look at, as they're excavating, to be able to hook up to the sewer out there. The sewer's very deep. And
Yes.
we'll put a stub,
Sewer's down 16 feet.
yes, we'll stub it out in there somehow. Maybe we're gonna have to put a manhole in. That might be more expensive, but we'll have to get stub it out there, so, and also, we'll have to make sure the water connection is okay too, to hook up to there too, and to have that all set up so that when we do get the funding to install it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can, I mean,
I was there when they put the sewer in, that's all.
Yeah.
I've been around a while.
well, that's the thing, it's like the sewer available, I think we should, right now it goes into a tight tank,
Yeah.
which is, well, probably the worst thing that we can have,
That's just maintenance and costs.
yeah. So if we can get it go to the sewer, and then it'll be, we won't have this issues now that right now, we have to go out and pump it once a year, and also it clogs, and solids to collect in the bottom of that.
Okay.
Linda, any questions? Patrick?
I have a couple. So, I mean, if we're gonna go through and do this project, right, and it's a significant time and effort and expense, all that stuff, I'm in agreement with Kim, like, there should be a way to, the additional cost to add, like a second toilet on each side seems like, that'd be, you're doubling the productivity of the space, like, how much, we would probably wanna know what's the extra to do that, because if you're going, 100% of the way, what's a little extra if you're gonna double the functionality of the
Yeah,
space, potentially?
It'd probably be about, for my estimate, probably about 20% more of the cost to do that, because we'd have to get a new building, a new structure, a new design building that's a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
But the footprint's not gonna matter, because we have a lot of space there, so we're not limited by any means to what we put there.
Yeah.
But, we can look into that too, or we can look into having the same footprint with the same building with the inside configuration to be looked.
I would be, I don't mean to step on you.
no,
but,
we're saying the same thing, I think.
even if we don't install the toilet and
Just have the
partitions and
fittings, yeah.
stuff, but have the plumbing capped in the floor.
Yep.
So that it gives us expandability at a later date.
At a minimum, yeah.
I would be very interested in that cost, if you could come up with that.
Yeah.
That would be the,
And I think it might be something that can come, because these are prefabbed,
yeah,
so.
but they're gonna have to be
Yeah,
for the toilet, unless they're gonna use unless they get wall-hung units.
yeah. The thing is, you have to be careful, because everything has to be ADA compliant, so,
Oh, I know.
yeah. So
I'd almost say they'd be guaranteed to be wall-hung units because the
I don't
slab-
know what existing they use.
Well, if it's all gonna be prefab, I mean, there's no slab in the floor, so they can't mount a toilet to it and all that, so it's gotta all be wall-hung,
Yeah.
and then just connect your sewer line to
Well, I
it.
think these units come with a floor in them.
I don't believe, that's not how I read it, but.
Oh, okay, maybe I didn't read it correctly. Okay,
So-
I'm just wondering if you could possibly come up with a ballpark figure from the fabricator
We can you can definitely double check with Steve McPherson. He was the individual, he's the building and facility supervisor that appeared with me when we first brought this during the project needs. So we did talk about it. I'm just not
That's all. I
100%
just-
sure where we left the conversation.
I'd like to have a number that we could actually, you know,
Right.
put our hands on.
No, that seems
You-
great.
You'd want that for both the male and female bathrooms, correct?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, they're being used as unisex, right? Is that,
Well,
that's the plan?
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, yeah.
Oh.
But currently, there is both a toilet and a urinal in each one of those units that they're currently, the location. They have the wall unit urinal with the toilet.
I didn't,
Now, whether there's a,
I don't,
want to put some type, but, you know, ADA compliant, I think that'd be tough. to
Oh,
put
right, right,
a
right.
Wall in there,
right, so.
to make
Wouldn't
a
wanna-
stall ADA compliant with that size, but,
That's why the design is what it is,
Yeah.
because it's,
yeah, if there's an extra wall unit, probably cleans up a little bit, but at the same time, I also recommend, just to throw it out there now, we put locks on it, have the ones that show occupied and
Oh, yeah.
open, because right now, you don't know. And you don't know if it's locked, or if there's someone actually in there,
That will definitely.
especially with children, right, you know?
Second question is, so I see project number 11 is the other bathroom at the other park. Is there cost savings for doing them both?
So
At the same time?
The savings we had identified, Steve was saying was with the shipping, because they would bring both of them, remember? I don't want
Yeah.
to speak out of turn, but that's what my understanding was, is that the only savings was the actual delivery charge.
And like order of magnitude,
I don't recall specifically.
I mean, the delivery charge on this one unit, that was gonna be one of my questions. It was $24,000 for delivery and then another $13,000 for a crane.
Yeah.
so, I mean, are we saving
Probably.
21,000.
20
10.
grand, 10, 20 grand?
10
Yeah,
to
it's
15
not-
probably.
If we do them both?
Because it's gonna be the additional weight if
Yeah.
they can get it on one truck.
Yeah.
But it is an oversized load,
measurements
so
in this?
you are saving on permits as well. Any questions,
You-
Mike?
well, I don't want to skip to the next project, but you would want.
Let's,
similar
can we
design.
just stay on this one
Yeah.
for a second, and then we'll
right.
get right to that one afterwards?
So, question on the budget. So you've got demolition, 10 grand, utility connections, 30 grand, automatic door locks, 5 grand, signage, 500. So are those just, I mean, what kind of estimates are those? Are those just rough estimates, vocal estimates, written? I mean, they're not in here, so.
That's a rough construction estimate.
that is, but not the other stuff.
Yeah, so, just, you know, as you want to do a construction estimate, you want to be on the high side, you want to know, you kind of have, you know, from my background, knowing how much something will cost, I would not be underestimating things, because that's not what you want to do. 200,000 was the actual price that we got from them, plus extra contingency in there, because the quote that we got now is not going to be valid by the time we order it, so I think that's why I had 200,000 in there. Demolition of existing building could be much cheaper than that, but you never know when you're doing construction projects.
There's two, right?
The price can, especially when you're excavating or removing old structures, it can go up, so you have to estimate these prices. Utility connection, $30,000, you're digging 16 feet
10 by
into the ground. That's how, that would be a pretty solid price for 30,000.
10 by-
Signage, that's the signage that, not including the CPC signage, but signage that we would need to tell people when the hours and the rules of the bathroom. Door locks is pretty standard. That's the same price we pay for the door locks down at the Pines, the automatic ones. And then 4-foot wide sidewalk, walkways, $25,000. That's pretty solid estimate, because that's used as, you can get down to the tonnage with the asphalt and the installation on that. But that's even still on the high side too. So I don't think it'd be a wise thing to do is try to estimate these jobs and also release money exactly how much it's gonna cost, because it's always gonna go over, and you have to know where and how much it's gonna go over and what projects cost more, especially if you're excavating, especially if you're demolition, things in construction are gonna come up. So you're safer to have a little bit over the estimate, and then as the construction is done, you give the money back. Unless, because if the construction is done and we don't have enough money, we're gonna have to come back and ask for more money. I don't think that would be a good process.
That's why we elected to have all applicants put in a contingency.
Yes, again, so that's how I came up with that value, total, plus the 10% contingency included. That's why I would estimate it about $297,550.
Okay, well, I'm not questioning, where you got the numbers. It's more, I just wanted to understand
Yeah,
that those are very rough estimates
Yeah.
based on your experience, not because we asked any contractors with, not for all of them, but from the larger numbers, that's your estimate.
yeah.
But, I mean, for any construction, you're bound to go over costs, especially when a year goes by before you actually do the work. But that's kind of why we've got the contingency built in there, and that's why I like to see the contingency broken out, so we know how much the contingency actually is.
No, it's understandable, but I think the way it's written there, that's what it is. You can deduct 10% off, that's so much would cost. So that's where it is.
TJ, anything?
Just one quick question. Knowing now, because Kim had mentioned that the sewer connection is 15 feet down, with your estimate of the 30K, which includes water, sewer, and electric, are you comfortable with that estimate? Do they know that they have to dig down? Because the sewer department really doesn't have anything to do with it, right?
No,
They
it
only
would
own
be,
the
it would be a private contractor. You'd have to hire someone maybe on their licensed drain layers list to do this as a separate job.
Right.
That's why you want to keep that money in there, and that would, that would include, the water is there, so you have to stub it and re-stub it out, so that's nothing. Electric is already there, you just have to cut it and reattach itself, so that's not a lot of money. To dig that deep, 30 grand I would say is high, but again, you're digging, so.
Right.
I mean, it's not far distance, that's the other thing, it's only about 50 feet, right? So then,
That, trench box,
yeah, trench box, but again,
excavator.
yeah, an excavator, that can cost, so, from my experience, and I've personally have overseen 300 sewer connections to homes in facilities and buildings, in my previous job, I'm pretty comfortable with that dollar.
Okay, that's, I wanted to make sure that you didn't
Yeah,
sell
no,
yourself
that,
short.
and like I said, I kind of know that's where it should be. And you know what, it might be lower than that, and you might return it and say, you know what, it was easier than we thought.
Cool.
Because what if there's a gas pipe there, you have to go under it, there's a water pipe there, you have to stay 10 feet away from it, there's a lot that goes on in that.
Yeah, any type of utility, underground
Yeah.
utility, if
Oh,
you
you
go
know.
around it, yeah. I just wanted to make sure you didn't sell yourself short, knowing now that
And you know what,
if you knew it
again-
was 15 feet, or if it wasn't 15 feet.
And again,
you have
that-
money in there.
30,000 is like, if someone said, if they came back and said this is gonna cost more, it wouldn't surprise me, like, if it, it's just, when you're estimating, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Now, look, in Mike's defense, now he can say, oh, go get a contractor to give you a price on this. A contract, 5 different contractors can be 5 different prices. So by the time I get you a number,
And
No,
based-
yeah, it could be, some of them say, I don't want to do this job, it's gonna cost you 50,000. And the other guy's gonna say, you know what, I live down the street, I'll do it for 15, so.
And based upon what they find. If all of a sudden
Yeah.
they hit ledge and they need to bring in a chipper in, it's
Oh,
a
yeah,
different
that's-
story, right? That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leah, any questions?
No.
Ed?
No questions. About time that they ran storage in there. Should have been done originally.
Elaine?
No.
All right, I think we already kind of covered it. My question was similar to what Patrick's was with the, if we combine these two projects together, what the savings may be. Have we looked at potentially a different layout that is a little bit narrower of a building, so you don't end up with oversized trucking and $25,000 to move this thing here?
We looked at it with one distributor that does a lot, it's something we can explore. I don't think the price is gonna come down, but I think maybe,
The price may not come down, but if the transportation cost comes down.
yeah,
I
We can
mean,
definitely explore that. Like we said originally, we had like the specification sheet that was provided. As you can see, you can check off all the different amenities that you would want to add to this particular
Oh,
structure and
yeah.
customize it. So we can definitely work to reduce the footprint in any way, shape, or form without obviously compromising on design and ADA.
yeah, I mean, I imagine if you went entry, in one side, you might be able to shrink it down. Maybe it's longer but narrower, but at least it fits on a truck.
So, the idea with this, with the proposals are to get a number that the proposer feels confident today that the project can be done. And with the 10% contingency, hopefully that covers any increase in cost. But it doesn't mean that that's what the project is actually going to cost, because once we approve these numbers, then it lands in the hands of our procurement expert, who then helps us to make sure we do everything we can to get the best price. So, I only ask my question because I just want to hear from Arthur where those numbers came from. But I think that, I don't think we should ask for multiple quotes, multiple estimates, because again, like Arthur says, you can ask 5 different vendors and you're going to get 5 different prices, especially if you're not ready to do the work today. A lot of companies don't even want to give you a price,
No, I
because.
agree.
So,
it was-
I'm just saying, so I'm happy with what's being put forward. and-
No, agreed. I'm just pointing out options where maybe we can save a
Yes,
buck.
right, exactly.
I think we also to keep in mind is that, you see how that's itemized in that, in my estimate? A similar, that is what you want to give to a contractor when they want to bid the job, and I can give them, do a lump sum, it'll be a description, or you can do it by item, where it'd be that, how much you're gonna charge us for this, and then you can actually see that when we have to, because this is gonna have to be put out for bid, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So the current functionality in the current restroom is one toilet and one wall unit on each side, or is it, what's currently there? Yeah?
Yes, it's, one toilet and one wall unit.
But the actual, structures themselves are not great. There's
No, no,
like a
I
map.
think, no,
there's,
understood,
yeah.
understood, but
Actually, they're actually
ultimately,
waterless.
ultimately a bathroom is, has a purpose.
And are they partitioned, or is it still single occupant?
Nope, just single occupant, yeah.
Yeah, so you're not really gaining anything by having 2 units in there.
It's just, well, because previously you had the pump, right? It was a pump for the toilet, and the other one's a waterless one. So
Gotcha.
it was try to utilize that, but I think everybody uses the toilet, and that's why there's so many issues with the push button and the electric. I mean, I've tried to fix it myself, right? Just messing with wires and everything else, gets kicked off.
Understood. All right, we'll give you a reprieve from that one, jump right into Washington Park bathrooms.
Yes, essentially, very similar to what we're trying to do at the Shanahan Field. At the recommendation of the community preservation, when we discussed this project for the Shanahan site, the board had expressed interest in providing additional facilities over at Washington Park. So working with the same contract or same vendor, in addition to working with the highway department, we established the proposal you see before you for a facility over at Washington Park. Obviously, this one will be slightly different because we do not have sewer in the roadway, so we are looking at doing something with the sewage tight tank that's similar to the design in terms of the setup for the tank, but not necessarily the facility that we have over at Shanahan. So there will be additional maintenance costs associated with such, since we will need to pump the
But-
tank.
There is a possibility that we can put a septic tank there too, with a leaching field. Not that so that's where that price is for,
So the price covers a full septic?
if necessary, which, again, that's something very hard to estimate itself. 35,000 would be a good number, but you'd have to also do some soil tests and stuff like that to see how big of a septic tank, leaching field you need. So that's where that number comes from. But 35,000 should cover you, because it's one bathroom, so that it shouldn't be that big.
And we're identical unit to the one at Shanahan.
Correct.
The current functionality is there a porta potty there? Is that what we have?
Currently, the Groveland Youth Baseball has a porta potty. It is only there for when they're using the site and they pay, maintain, and work with the vendor for placement, et cetera.
So if we had to choose only one of these two projects because of the increased functionality, we would be inclined to prefer this because the current situation is what it is?
So essentially it's entirely up to the board and the town meeting as to how they want to move forward. But I would say that the issue with Shanahan is that they're not functioning. And I know that the amount of money that we need to invest in making sure that they're up and running, sanitary and functional, is becoming more than we had that we collect in fees. So we're not able to maintain that. And the league is supplementing that with fundraising and some of the monies that they collect, but it's obviously, again, becoming way too expensive. So unfortunately, regardless of the fact that the original application from the Youth Soccer League was for the Youth Soccer League to apply for the project, it is on town property, it is a town facility, and if it is not functioning properly, we will need to be forced to close those facilities, and therefore, they would have to move forward like the Groveland Youth Baseball and have porta potties there if in fact they wanted to have that. Otherwise would be forced to lock them. So I think that from a standpoint of what the existing setup is, it would be more of an inconvenience for the folks over at Shanahan Field as opposed to those over at Washington Park, as they already have a system and a process set up in place where Shanahan would have to go back and to the drawing board and figure out whether or not it's worth it to do something else.
So your opinion would be if we can only do one, we should do Shanahan?
No, my opinion is that those are the facts. And if the board so chooses that that is a priority, then that is a priority.
No, I understand that's your official position.
Any other questions on this one? No. Sure. Just hop up to the podium there.
Just a couple things real quick, so,
Name and address.
Bill Daly's, 7 Hemlock Lane. Hey, out in Hawaii.
Well, what's up?
Just thinking, I didn't know you guys were talking about Washington Park, but, I mean, that's all beautiful sand up there, man, we definitely do a septic up there. for that.
Apologies, the microphone is off.
Make sure it's green. There you go.
Yeah, I think Washington Park is, perfect spot for, septic system, which is nice, right? No pumps, no tight tank.
No, that's
There'd be a lot
the
of issues.
ideal, the best solution for us, the lowest
Yep.
maintenance would be a
Yep,
septic.
that's the best thing up there. And the other thing with Shanahan, there's no reason to go 15, 16 feet deep out there for a little tiny soil service for 8 weeks a year, right? There's plenty of manholes. I would just go right in one of those manholes, do an interior drop.
Yeah, we can look at
5
that
feet
too, yeah,
deep.
I mean, that's,
I would do that for nothing.
well, we'll take your word.
Yeah.
Well, this guy's a very experienced guy, also, obviously, I've worked with him in the past,
Yeah.
overseeing his jobs too, which is strange that I'm seeing it here.
No.
But yeah,
I mean, that's the best thing to do. I know some towns don't like the interior drops, but you know, they're fine, especially in that application. It's not like it's a
high flow at all.
10-story building going into it. It's, you know, it's 2 porta potties going in there.
We can look at the sewer plans on that.
I got them. I've already looked at all that stuff, yeah.
Thank you.
Good to go. It's 2 million. I just don't know where it's going.
Huh?
The other thing you can do is you can put a manhole on the source service pipe that goes to the little house.
That's
and
what I
then
was-
and then Y into that, which,
I mentioned that earlier, you have to put a intermediate.
well, for 300,000, buy the house.
Huh?
That you already own. And put toilets everywhere.
No, the only,
But,
That's actually, well, that's not.
but I would go into the manhole. The manholes are easy, right?
Yeah.
5 feet deep, done, you know? And then you have 2 to choose from there.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and just keep me posted, it's just my thoughts, but definitely, we did all the electrical up at Washington, so, that's all great sand, and there's plenty of guys that can throw something
The other
together.
thing is that there is, the bigger project, I think the water main is being run all the way down Main Street there for the new, treatment plant.
That's all new water main that was laid, oh,
They're gonna run a
there'll
new-
be a raw water line.
Yeah, they're gonna run a new one there, so I was thinking that if we were gonna be digging there, you can kinda incorporate this, but you might have a better idea too, though.
Well, the one for the water plant would be a raw water main,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so you can't touch that one.
No, say, but they'd be, someone excavating, digging there at
Yeah.
the time, you would see what actually is down there.
Yeah, yeah, the water's not, I mean, but yeah, I mean, 15, 16 feet deep, I can get ugly, you know what I mean? No sense to go that deep out there for that.
I only mention it because
Yeah.
I was there when they
Oh,
put.
We were 22, 23 feet on Harvard, and, you know, it's not, you know, that, you had to be there, but not for a bunch of soccer kids, you know?
Oh, that's good.
All right,
We'll
good deal.
put that.
Thank you.
That's my 2 cents, so I
Appreciate the
Thank
input,
you.
Bill.
No, for sure.
Thank you. All right. Check, check, check. All right, so let's
I'd like to have her speak on the.
circle back on to the list here, and we'll hit the community garden water supply. If you guys wouldn't mind hanging out, just to maybe field a couple of questions on a couple of these projects coming up, the lighting. and
Of course.
I was gonna say, they have the co-sponsor of the lighting, right?
Yeah.
So, okay.
This is your stuff I forgot to give.
Oh.
How are you all?
How are you?
Good. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. I appreciate it. So I believe you've all had a chance to read the final report, the Phase 1 for the community garden project.
Yes.
It was a while ago. I know.
Yep, we approved the
right.
closeout, and
So what I wanted to update you a little bit on some issues that have come up since that was written. So the current application for the water supply is in a little bit of a flux. There's been some concerns brought up. The original estimate that the town got from Comac Brothers had the water supply coming from the irrigation well, and you have a picture in the proposal. It comes from the irrigation well to the community garden. So subsequent to that, there's been concerns brought up that the irrigation well is not functioning as well as it should be, and that the community garden water supply should come from where the shed is down there and connect to town water. So that is going to change a lot of things. Number one, that means the water would have to be metered and paid for. That's one thing. The other thing is we are still working on the best way that could happen. So I apologize in advance for letting you know that things are not settled at this point. Arthur was very kind to give me one estimate, what he considered would work, which actually is about over 6 times the cost of the original proposal. Not proposal, but estimate from Comac Brothers. So I have not had a chance, I've had a chance to talk with Comac Brothers about their estimate, because it actually looks like it would be a shorter distance. So
however,
I need-
if the well
I
can't
need-
sustain it,
No, a shorter distance of pipe to go from town water to the garden than the original one. But I have not had a chance, unfortunately, to circle back with Arthur about his numbers. So
Okay.
I apologize in advance that is not completed.
all right, so I think what the best course of action here is, because I have a couple of questions independent of that water supply.
Sure.
But if you want, we have a little more time. If we can just give you the questions, and if you can get some answers and
Yep.
and get something together for our next meeting on March 9th, and come back
Absolutely.
with I mean, that's going to be kind of the last minute
Yes.
to come in with a
No, I
revised.
understand, and I apologize,
But-
but this is
no,
kind of a
no.
last-minute thing that occurred.
Understood. One question that I have is where it's coming off of a metered water connection, now town water, who's paying for that?
Well, it would have to be incorporated in the user fee for using the garden.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you'd have to figure out,
Because as my report had originally said, most community gardens do charge a user fee.
okay,
But we would have to use an estimate to make sure that the number of gardens would support the amount of water. So I've been talking with Colin Stokes about that.
Okay, and,
The other problem is, though, the rates are going up, so we don't have,
yeah, they
it's
had
going to be
this run
harder
for
to,
3 hours.
we're going to have a harder time estimating that until we know more information. But
No, and
Colin's
I
aware.
would advise you to figure out maybe some level of, once you've reached the estimated water usage, a way to shut it off so you don't end up going over and can't cover it. Because we don't want the town to be held liable for it after the fact. So, maybe if you guys estimate you need 100 gallons of water a month or whatever, have them put a meter in that shuts it off after 100 gallons.
No, it's a good idea.
So you're not going over. That concludes my questions, but I'll open it up to the floor if anybody else has any. Kim?
With not knowing the reliability of the existing well, what position is the recreation department or the town taking as far as replacing that well or substituting it?
that's out of my purview.
Arthur, do you want
Just to
to,
let you know.
do you want to come up and comment?
I just, there's, I know a lot of money's been invested in that ball field, and all of a sudden the well goes dry or inadequate.
Yeah, so the issue was, and I've been in this position only not, since July, so I only kind of realized what was going on this summer. So this summer, it dried out, and we had no water. So that well also feeds the sprinklers up here at the, in front of the town hall. And there's periodically not enough water for us to.
Okay.
So tapping more water out of it it's not a good option. That was our concern. There is, and then on top of that, to get more water, you have to go deeper, which
Oh,
would be
yeah.
much more expensive, we can,
I've drilled a few wells in town, I've
Yeah.
been 600 feet before.
exactly. So in the summertime, sometimes there's not water here. I mean, obviously, if it's drought conditions, we're not watering anyways. But we are looking into maybe alternatives at this point. That's
Do you
why-
know how deep the well is now?
I don't know. I've not really looked into the specs. I've not gotten that. Not gotten. Actually, it's one of my objectives is to come up with a parks and cemeteries procedures plan, so we can know what we have and what needs to be maintained every year. And I think that they'll eventually get there. But at this point, I can't give you that.
So feel free, either one of you to jump here and answer this. The estimate I saw was somewhere in the neighborhood of $20,000 to connect on to town water.
Yeah, so there's two ways of doing it. This is the estimates I came up with. I actually, I've seen this done, and I've spoke to some contractors just to get an idea of what price is. So there's two ways of doing it. Either you're going to put in a pipe that can stay there all year round, so it has to be at least 4 feet deep.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be copper. It could be PVC. A lot of places now allow PVC, so it can be potable water that goes about 500 feet. To dig that out 4 feet deep, you're probably talking about $40 per foot to dig it out, excavate it out. It isn't sand, it isn't dirt, you don't have to repave it. Now, the second way to do it is that you get this, there's machines that get attached to a skid steer, and it actually just.
The trenchless.
Trenchless.
Yep.
It goes in the ground, and that goes 3 feet deep. But again, that would be about $25 a foot to put in.
No, so I guess what I'm alluding to is, I think it may be worth investigating what's there for a well now. Maybe that $20,000 would be better spent fixing the well and fixing two problems,
The-
as opposed to tying on and then not having to worry about the cost aspect of it.
The other issue I had as maybe almost a public health issue is that you can have now open faucets that people are gonna go and fill up and water their gardens, but what stops somebody from going over and drinking that water? I'm just saying, maybe not.
No, I mean, fair point. I would imagine a sign saying not drinkable water would,
Well, I'm just saying that people will do that. People are, I'm just saying that you're gonna have now they're gonna have a faucet that's non-drinkable water. It's most of a liability for the town. A kid, a person can go over there, just fill up the water bottle and drink it. So, and I don't know what's in those wells sit for a long time, so, and plus, you know, you have potable water, you have unlimited supply. You're not worried about it drying out in the summertime. So those are our concerns. And then, like I said, if you go 4 feet deep, you don't have to clean them,
Takes all the maintenance costs out,
Yeah.
because you don't have to winterize it.
you don't have to winterize it. But if you go 3 feet deep, you have to winterize it. So that was a concern that I would have, just for maintenance down there, for us to have open faucets.
So that's a spigot? That's an open spigot for people watering, that's just a?
Yeah, like the cemetery.
Or do you actually use?
Like the cemetery has, and those spigots, it'd be similar to something like that.
You can do a lockout, yeah.
Right, exactly.
You can do a lockout, but they don't do sprinkler heads, like automatic watering? And because everything's different?
No, it would be.
Gardening's all different?
Hand watering.
It's all hand watering?
Right.
Okay.
But the other thing too is, you know, it's not going to be used during all 4 seasons. So,
Right.
you know, the Comac Brothers recommended, you know, using the Ditch Witch and just going, you know, 12 to 18 inches because it's not going to, it doesn't matter. Because we're not going to be using it, you know, just drain it.
No, but with that, if you're not gonna be using it, you gotta empty the water out of the line
Yeah.
every winter so it doesn't freeze and
Right,
break your
right.
line.
No, I
So
know, and that
that's a-
takes.
That's
some
a yearly
maintenance,
cost.
right. But that is a very cheaper way of doing it than doing 4 feet. So, you know,
I mean,
the trade-offs on.
Yeah,
all-
no, I mean, but, you know, you gotta look at where's that money coming from. We're not just gonna add that onto the, you know, highways department.
User fee.
Yeah, there is a user fee, so.
So you use a fee pays for water, you use a fee pays to winterize the
Yeah,
things. I
why
mean,
not?
fair enough, it's all things to
Well,
consider.
like the user fee at the dog park, it pays for a lot of things.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of that same
and
revolving fund mentality.
how many people do you think, you know, this garden is gonna sustain?
Well, it was designed for 18 beds.
18 beds, so each one person would have one bed, is the theory?
Yeah, or you could.
Or you
rent
get
two.
multiple?
Right, but.
And you would do
know,
a user fee based on per bed?
Right, correct.
Anybody else?
Yeah,
Mike?
Jan, so just explain very briefly what a community garden is and why we should want one here.
Well, I'm sure everybody read my final report, so they should have a good understanding of what a community garden is, but I have seen a lot of confusion. Some people think it's my own personal garden, and it is not my own personal garden, and the reason that I am advocating for something like this is a community garden really is a benefit to the community. Many towns have them, and it's a place where people can gather, people who don't have the ability to have a garden but want to have a garden. Say you live in an apartment or whatever, you have that ability to go and have a garden. It's recreational, it also helps the food insecure, and excess food can be given to the COA. There's just many benefits about it. It's another form of recreation, another form of learning. The kids at the Bagnell School have learned so much about gardening and where their food comes from by having their community garden at the school. It's just been incredible. Folks at Nichols Village, they love having a community garden, and a lot of them do vegetables, a lot of them just do flowers, but again, it's a gathering place, it's a beautiful place, it's very aesthetically pleasing, and yet we don't have one for our general public. So that was the thought behind this project from the get-go. Is it something that would benefit the general public of Groveland? Does
So-
that answer your question?
Well, so it would benefit people who are living at the manor, you know, there's 50-plus units
Right.
over there with nowhere to go for a garden. The Pines, over behind the fire station, those
Right, well,
units over there.
the
they don't have
proximity is
yards.
very good for those locations, absolutely, absolutely.
Thanks.
DJ?
I just have one question.
Sure.
Do we know an idea of what the costs in the future? Because this is just the one phase, right, for the water.
Right.
Now, next, we're talking, are you building your own beds or having someone come in and build the beds? Is there a loom so like that kind of, is that all just done by the users of there? Is everything else done through CPC, or is there going to be additional phases that you'd come through and ask for more?
Well, my thinking by doing the water supply first is everything is contingent on that. You know, we can't go, say, to a nursery and ask for donations of plants or anything without having the ability to water stuff when we put it in, or any of the common plants that you would put in there. So my hope was to be able to accomplish that phase through CPA, and then we would be much more eligible to get a lot of grants. And, you know, hopefully through a group like the Garden Club, which has a 501c3 designation, so that it would not necessarily all go through CPA funds. That was my original hope, you know, because there are grants available and there are other avenues available besides CPC.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else?
Leah? Ed?
Yes, just one question. What is the cost estimate right now before tying into the Groveland water system?
So
Well, that's where we're in a kind of a flux to tie into the water, because I have one estimate that is like $4,000, and then I have estimates from Arthur which are up to $22,000. So that's where we've got to circle back and just look and see the feasibility of this.
Which one?
Because that's a big difference in funding.
For sure. Does that answer your question, Ed?
Yes.
Anything else?
No.
Oh, thank you. Elaine?
The only thing I wanted to piggyback on Jan's list of benefits is mental health. That sense of community and productivity and watching things grow is just so important for people's mental health. And I think we all see that there's a lot of need for that right now in terms of providing more positivity and opportunities for people to stay healthy. So I think it's a great idea. Thank you.
Anybody else? Good.
I think the only other statement that was made last time was one of the main costs on this 12.8 was a permit filing of $8,200, which is out of our control. It's not like we discussed it before, that it's a state permit that there's no way of us floating it or anything like that we have to pay, which
Arthur, do you
it's
have-
only a $4,000 cost for the water, but you have to pay $8,000 in a permit.
Well, we might have to pay that, we don't know. It's
Okay.
because of the location of it being
Next to the river.
200 feet from the river, right?
Right.
And that was another reason why I was a proponent of having a more shallow pipe, because with a ditch witch, you don't have to have a big excavator down there and do all that kind of stuff, which would be more of a disturbance in that area. So if we scale back the project so that we don't have to have all kinds of heavy equipment and everything, you know, it might not cost that much to get, to have a wetland scientist do all this work.
Is there an alternate location that you could have where you wouldn't need the permit?
Well, anything with, you know,
Anything
with
that's
that
not 200
proximity to
right.
wetlands or the river,
Right.
you would need to.
So
Go
that,
for
I
that.
mean, would that be something you could explore as well, is to maybe locate it somewhere where that
It's
wouldn't
a
be?
possibility. If
Yeah.
somebody comes up with a great spot, let me
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for your work.
All right, moving on. We got Crosstown Trail 2026.
Yes.
So that was, you guys online, I emailed that out a couple days ago, and Mike was kind enough to bring us copies of the updated ones this evening, for those of us that are here. Take it away, Mike.
Yes, so the Crosstown Trail may sound familiar because this project was going back quite a few years pre-pandemic that was first proposed and was funded. And so the committee had a lot of questions about what that project was going to do and its direction, and putting in a trail, one trail that went from Main Street all the way over to Center Street. There were problems with getting an easement out to Center Street. As you remember, many residents over there at Center Street came and didn't quite understand that an estimate was an estimate. It didn't mean we were going to take their property for a trail. So anyway, the input I gathered from the last meeting, I went back and tried to think about how could this project maybe make more sense. And so I looked at the many trails that are in the area, both in Groveland, Town Forest that already exist, and West Newbury has an extensive trail system and has ways of getting over to the Crane Pond Reservation that the state owns that goes into Georgetown. So how come no one, not too many people go to our town forest trails? They're a great place. Once you know about them, you're probably more than happy to get up there. There's parking lot up there. There's a paved area that goes up to the water tower. It's a great place. But, if you ask anybody, where's the town forest, probably 90% of the people who live in town don't know anything about it. Same thing with Crane Pond Reservation. That's a spectacular state-run area. I've never even been there, and I have gone to a lot of the trails around, but I've never gone into that one. And then West Newbury has some great trails like we do in our town forest. I have been over there, terrific connections up to their water tower, and it's a great place. So why aren't people going? They're not going because they don't know about these places. How can we get them to know about it? Well, that's where the goal of this Crosstown Trail is to open up these trail systems to everybody by starting out on Main Street. We have an easement in place that was granted to the town by Nichols Village. Starts at Main Street down across from Pentucket Schools there. And you can start there. It's a high visibility site on Main Street. And I think the fact that we've got that there, and it opens you up to all of the systems, not just crossing over to Center Street to get to Crane Pond. In my proposal, I outlined, I think, 5 sample trails that you could take. Yeah. Sample routes A, B, C, D, and E on page 6 that you could park your car down on Main Street at the Pentucket School, and you could walk all the way into Georgetown, or you could park your car at the lot up on Wood Street and walk back down to Main, or walk into West Newbury, or you can park your car on one of the smaller lots on Crane Pond Reservation, walk through there, or connect back into our town forest. So the whole idea really is this is a huge network, and so we're not anymore limited by one particular pathway that may or may not be available. Are we still pursuing an easement to get over to Center Street? Yes, but easements don't happen overnight. I have been in communication with one resident over there that owns property in Groveland, but I don't have any word yet that they're willing to grant us an easement. But it doesn't mean that that's closes the project off, because you can get to Center Street and Middle Street in West Newbury by going through the West Newbury trails that already exist. So it's really a matter of taking advantage of what we already have. The primary new opening to this thing is down there on Main Street through that existing easement. That's it,
The end.
the end.
All right, we'll open it up for questions with Kim.
Not at this time.
Linda?
No, not right now.
Patrick?
I think I'd like to see graphically what these different options kind of look like.
Yeah, they're on those maps.
I mean, I would want to look at, I kind of understand, but I think I would want to see something that shows, hey, this is the new proposed thing, and this is what it would look like. So I'm looking at these maps, and these are just the maps as they are. And I would like to see what, each of these sample routes might look like, graphically. I think that would be helpful to me and the board to see, what these might look like in practice. What's different that we're gonna spend $100,000 to do these various things. It seems a little amorphous, at least as I'm looking at it right now, is all.
So I'm not quite sure what you're looking for. So what do you want? Colored maps with a,
Take a highlighter and draw where you're gonna walk.
well, I could do
No,
that.
That's as simple as.
No, quite literally.
If
I
you
wanna
want me to do
see-
that, I can-
I want to see what Route A, Route B, Route C, Route D, and Route E look like, and then that will help me understand what infrastructure are we putting into,
It doesn't already exist.
that doesn't already exist, or what trails do we have to cut? Where are we going that we don't already have, or don't already have access to? So I don't mean to be simple about it. I think, you're
Okay.
asking for a good chunk of money. I want to understand.
Sure.
What it looks like to spend that money. And
No, I understand. Believe me, and you know this, I don't have
Sure
to
do.
tell you this, that we don't have great software to, address these maps the way I would like to see them done.
No, I
We're
understand.
still working on that.
Sure.
But I can do, I can give everybody new pages for pages 7 through 11 that are outlines, basically.
I think it would,
it'd be
I think it
helpful.
would be
Yeah.
really helpful
No,
for
that makes
people to
sense.
see what it would look like. Okay, so this is, this is Cross Trail System A, is it just one new trail we're making?
I'm
or
gonna
is
say,
it-
if I can just jump onto there while you're highlighting where the route is.
Yeah.
Just differentiate between existing and new,
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe a dotted
Well,
line and a solid line or something.
I can tell you that really, the two areas that are new, most of it, I would say 75% of it are existing trails. It may even be more than that. The biggest new trail is from Main Street up through that connection through Nichols Village to connect to an existing trail in Town Forest. The other one is the portion of a new loop trail that is on parcel, which is the one on page 10, parcel 4L. So those are the two new trails, completely new trails that would be built. The other ones are all existing trails. So
so how different is the 4L area from what we were talking about initially and then dissuaded from?
well, because it's a loop trail, it's not,
So it's just.
back in
it's
the
just-
original.
It's just using that land that's already town owned.
Yes, right, exactly, because before, there was that was the primary cut-through
Yeah.
to Center Street, and it was just one trail, whereas now we're talking about a system. So there's gonna be that trail, the rest of the trails that already exist, and then the main one is gonna be that one from Main Street up to Town Forest.
Any other questions? TJ?
Yes, Mr. Chair, sorry. I just have a couple of quick things. First, the current proposed number, Mike, is the 110, the 109.6, is that still good? I know that we changed things around a little bit, so I didn't know if there's an updated number on that. Is it still the 110?
No, that is the budget, but, you know, kind of like what Arthur says, you have to take into account. So, are we really going to have to file a notice of intent? I hope not, but one of the estimates that we got claimed that there is wetlands that we might have to take into account or redirect the trail on the Nichols property. So either we can hopefully maybe redirect it and convince the Nichols people to let us, curve around the wetlands, even though it's outside of the original easement. Or, we may not, so we may be able to eliminate that. The other ones, again, that we might be able to eliminate are the walkways and bridges for $15,000. That's 2 bridges crossing wetlands. Again, if we can avoid wetlands, then that number would either be reduced or eliminated.
And I'm fine with all. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that that was the updated number.
No, but it's no more than what
Okay,
we're
all right,
presenting
cool.
before.
Awesome, thank you. And then the only thing I wanted to just remind the board, right, about what our criteria is here as the board. As we review this, this is a conservation piece of land that is beneficial. It meets all the requirements, right, to put forth to town hall, to the town meeting, and let the town decide. I think that, and my feeling is whether we 9 feel as though whether we agree with it or disagree with it, this is something that the board's job is to look at it, make sure that it meets all the criteria, and then let the town make its final decision on whether we should have it or not. It's not now I know the funding, we have a different funding situation this year, right? So we have to figure out whether we're maxing out things like that. But I just want to, reiterate and remind people that the board's process is to review this, make sure that it meets all the criteria, and then decide whether we want to put it forward, to let the town decide, because we could feel one way on whether it's Washington Park or Shanahan Fields or this, and we go to town meeting, and the majority of the town meeting are out, no, we want the Crosstown project, we could care less about Shanahan and Washington Park.
Well, one of the,
Just throwing that, a reminder, that's all.
Yes, but in the same breath, where this particular cycle, we have more projects than money, we're going to have to make that decision.
Correct, absolutely.
and the other piece is, we also carry an obligation to make recommendations, right? And so, in the past, we've supported a project or, so I think that's part of the board's role too. And with a situation where you've got more projects than money, we have to, I think we have to decide whether, we have to sort of favor some projects over others, in this particular cycle especially.
Yep.
As I remember it, it was, the select board has an opinion and generally wants to recommend or not recommend. The finance, has an opinion and generally wants to recommend or not recommend. And the CPA has, either a recommend or not recommend on each particular project.
I think
Though your point.
I think if we vote on it.
Your point is
It
well
has-
taken. of
It has
course.
to make it through this committee before it goes to the other ones.
Right.
So if we decide no, then it's,
Right.
then the end.
You're basically, if you vote it to go to town hall, it's in favorable, because it's already been.
Right,
Correct.
right, true.
Any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Leah? Ed?
Yes, just to make a comment, when I look at these CPA projects, I look at them as if we didn't have the community preservation money, would you feel comfortable going to town meeting and asking for an override? And that's that's the way I feel that's the way I look at it. But as far as this, crosstown trail, I mean, Mike, you indicated that there would be parking available at Pentucket. Are those going to be dedicated marked spaces for the trailhead parking only? And the same, you mentioned an easement on, up at Nickel Village. Would they do the same thing? Would they mark out some spots for, the trailhead parking only?
Those are certainly good suggestions, Ed, and we can try to do those things.
Anything else, Ed?
Mike, I have a question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Ed, did you have anything else?
No, I think I'm all set.
Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead, Leah.
Is this land that we're looking to have this trail on, is this already protected land?
Well, it is so many different states, so Nichols, is private land with a pre-existing trail easement. So from that point of view, we have the right to put an easement there, but only, where it was predefined. Town forest is protected under Chapter 97. Then the rest of it is really within the state, which is protected, West Newbury, which is protected. So a lot of it is protected, yes.
And then what's the advantage to having a trail? It protects it more, or?
Oh, no, just to have
It's just
people
the
use it.
access, okay.
Yeah, because, we spent a lot of money in our town for trails, and, last year, we funded trail enhancements to kind of open up our trails and make them more broadly available and usable by people. So this is adding to that effort.
I get you.
Anything else?
I always wanted to know, do many people use these trails?
More people are. More people are.
More than
More than the past.
in the past?
Yes.
Okay.
It's hard to number them. We don't have any
I know there's
trail
no way
counting
to actually
system.
know exactly, but
The rail trail is highly used.
Yeah.
And so some of the things that we're doing, and one of the things we're doing in the 2025 project, and we'll talk about that in a bit, is we're going to connect Center Street Greenway to that. And so where you've already got a lot of traffic, that traffic now has another offshoot to go.
All right.
And
Yeah.
so that's one of the things in the master plan, is to try to connect these trails so that, people can use them in a more broad way. And so right now, the real gravity of the usage is on the rail trail. And so if we can get people to pop off that and, like I see this other place that I wasn't able to go before, that's the kind of thing that we're trying to do, link these trails up.
okay, I understand.
Elaine, did you have anything?
Nope.
All right, my only comment on this is I would like to see the already open $30,000 project closed before we entertain this one.
There's that.
Well, you could take a vote on that next time.
I don't know if you're opposed to it or not. but
No,
That's just my take on it in good faith, like, if there's not enough money to do this project, have it back. Now I would like some more to do the project properly. Anybody else on the Crosstown Trail?
I was gonna say, Mr. Chair, I would say we just put it on next meeting's agenda, and we can have that discussion.
Sure.
Say who you are and where you're from.
Hey, Emilio Dunn, 358 Center Street. So me, as well as the other 12 abutting property owners, gathered last time due to the previous project running through potentially our again, estimates, as you mentioned, or whatever, through our properties. With that said, we had a few different asks, and one of the reasons that we had our asks for it not to go through our property was privacy. So that 4L property was actually, one of the properties that we called out as behind all of us. And with that said, it greatly reduces the privacy for all of us if the public is allowed throughout. And so that was, when you had mentioned that, I was hopeful that this new Crosstown Trail project would maintain the distance from our houses, our backyards, et cetera. And it sounds like it may still be routed through that loop. So my only ask would be, number one, we did ask for either that land to stay private or potentially assess the sale of the land to the public or to one of the abutters, ideally. So that would offset any cost that that land had. And with that said, with the sole intent of keeping it private as the way that it is and not change it, not trek on it, leave it for nature. So I do have the question of, would it be possible to just remove that one part of the trail to keep the privacy of that area? Because it's different when, if it's open there and it's deer and whatever, that's one thing, but having open to the public walking through your backyard is a different story. And people bring their dogs, they end up all over the place, and it's more of the same there. So that would be my only question is could that be brought into consideration?
Which page am I?
You
We
want to
can't,
comment?
unfortunately, we can't do either one of those things. First of all, the property was donated. When it was donated, it came under Chapter 97 protection, which means that we can only sell it if the state legislature
This is
approves it, and they don't like to do that. The other thing that you need to do is potentially have to replace it.
With equal acreage, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, understood.
And since we didn't purchase that property, it was donated, we don't have any funds to be able to purchase some other property. The other thing is, since it's a public parcel, I don't really think it's possible to prevent people from using it. What we want to do is to put a trail that makes the property useful, keeps people on the trail and not wandering off into abutting properties. So that would be our goal, to work with you to make sure that the trail was kept at a reasonable distance from your property, which I've been out there, it's certainly possible to do. I mean, it's a very wooded area. There's wetlands back there, so it's not going to be, you're not going to be getting tons and tons of people. Plus the fact that it'd be a loop trail, it's a loop trail, so I mean, people are going in and out. They're not going through somewhere else to Center Street or any other abutting property. So, I think we'd be more than happy, the commission, when we were designing the trail, would be more than happy to work with you, make sure that we could come to some mutually agreeable solution.
Yeah.
Buffer.
I think that the issue that we have is that, number one, I know it's Chapter 97 because of the way it was conveyed, but that doesn't necessitate it to be open to the public, right? Those are two very different pieces. And so, we do question, does it need to be open to the public? And for that part of the trail, to be frank, it's not very pretty over there, except for, again, looking at the wildlife and the deer and whatnot. But if you're going to have another part of the trail that goes somewhere else anyways, is it a necessary part of the trail at the expense, I should say, of all the abutting property owners? That's the one thing. Is it worth it, more or less, to add the expense of building that part of the trail and then also to have all of the abutters be like, now I have the public in my backyard, which was once very private and is no longer, is basically the ask. That one section, that's all. Not the whole thing, just that one section.
Yeah, I mean, townspeople don't, if we own a town property that's, controlled by the commission. I don't think people are happy when we have to put up a no trespassing sign, you know? And so even our, we have an 8-acre turtle mitigation area located in the Center Street Greenway. Even there, we have to be very careful to walk a fine line between meeting the state requirements for what turtle habitat is and what trails are there. And so, we don't have no trespassing signs there. We don't really have any reason or ability to discourage people from using it, and they do. And sometimes it's a risk for the habitat, but it's just something that we have to put up with. The turtles don't like somebody wandering around in their backyard either.
Right.
But unfortunately, we can't totally prevent that. So we find a way to live with it. The impact ends up being minimal, and the commission would do everything. And again, by having a trail there prevents people from just wandering all over the place. Because unless you put up a big no trespassing sign and enforce it, you're not going to be able to keep people out. And so I don't want to tell you that we're not going to do something there, because it's not going to prevent people from using it. It'd be better if we have a small trail through the property that's well-marked, and we know that people will be advised to stay on the trail like they are everywhere else and not wander through the woods. So as I say, I think we're more than happy to come into some kind of negotiate with the butters to that particular parcel to kind of, let's meet in the middle and try to come up with something that doesn't interfere with your property rights, but also gives everyone else in the town of Groveland the ability to enjoy our open space.
So I definitely understand that. However, with the parcel being private right now,
It's not private right now.
it's not private.
No.
So it's open to the public.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. So again, at the end of the day, I think we came up here and told you our stance, which is that we'd like no trail on it and it to be made private, if not private, but under the assumption that it is currently. But if it is at all possible to not have a trail there, to invite more people, again, just to maintain the privacy of the abutters in that area is really the goal. So that, again, it's just asking the question of, is it necessary to have that loop there, as opposed to?
I'm just because in the.
Yeah, sorry.
Interest
That
of
was all.
moving on, your comments are noted and it's acknowledged. I think Mike's been pretty fair that we're not going to go build a trail right along the property line. But I certainly think you could take that under advisement. And I'd say if you wanted to discuss it further, this might not be the right venue for it, but maybe a conservation meeting.
Yeah. The project, if for some reason we decided not to put that trail in, well, okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect the overall project.
Fair. And I think that's the point Emilio was making.
Yes.
The project's a great project. It was just that one. And again, I'm not trying to cut you off, but we still got half an agenda and it's 9 o'clock, so.
I just have a quick question on location, because we're talking about Wood Street, right? Is the public parcel there right across from 42, in between 41 and 35? Is that where that
Yes,
public,
yes. You know where
it kind of goes through
the
here?
chicken house used to be?
Okay.
Yeah. There's a little roadway
kinda
that
goes-
goes in there, which is the entrance to it.
Okay.
Good on the cross-country trail?
Yes.
All right, we'll move on to the Hand Tub Museum. So, I mean, this one's pretty cut and dry. We're going to refurbish the hand tub. add some signage, display cases for some artifacts, as well as some new lighting and replacing the flooring and ceiling.
I know this,
I will open it up for questions with Kim.
hey,
No, nothing.
Linda,
No, nothing.
Patrick?
Just to recap, the whole point of doing the project this way was to make sure that there's money to do it right.
Yes, this will complete the project
Right. So that's
that has been started for 20 years.
understood. Yeah, that's all I have.
Mike?
Do you have feedback from the Historic Society, the Historic Commission, or the firefighters?
So
Group.
there is a ad hoc veto hand tub committee that has firefighters and historic commission representatives on it, and they
And they're all behind this?
supported and assisted in the design of this project.
Perfect.
DJ?
Is it done yet?
No, sir.
All right.
Leah?
my question exactly. Is it done yet?
EJ moves to approve the project. and
Ed,
refer
any
it to
questions?
the other project.
No questions.
Elaine?
Nobody does.
I have no questions, because it
Very
was
good.
such a well-put-together project.
He said, patting his shoulder.
All right, next up, we got Perry Park Phase 2.
Am I standing at the podium?
You can stand or you can sit. Dealer's choice.
Stephanie has been very patient.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting so long. Do you just want to give a brief overview, and then we'll open it up for questions?
Well, this is the phase two. We've already completed the conceptual.
Oh, is that,
design.
Mike, sorry.
Oh, thank you. This is a really fun little mic. This is the proposal for phase two of the Perry Park restoration. The whole point of this project is really some habitat restoration. The park is actually one of the most historic sites in the town. This will complete a corridor between the Pines and Elm Park. The abutters, neighbors, townspeople have all been in favor of Phase 2, which will complete some construction-ready documents moving forward. I can also speak to the other purposes of the park, which is really my main point in bringing this project forward is restoring the park. We've already gotten rid of the knotweed in order to help make that happen. And what we would like to do is some ecological landscaping best practices, education for the town as far as how we got rid of the knotweed of various native plantings. We'd like it to be low or no maintenance as possible. Also enhancing some passive recreation, historical education, including a lot of really cool historical facts about the area.
All right. We'll open with questions with Kim.
The knotweed is successfully been removed.
Dunzo. Yep. I hired a professional contractor, and he took care of it.
That was part of Phase 1, right?
Okay, thank you. That's it?
Linda, anything?
No, I was thinking about the knotweed.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
What I read up on it, it can be a nasty stuff.
Oh, that guy was worth his weight in gold.
Was he lean and mean about it?
He was excellent. He treated it through best practices. He was just very great.
Okay.
Patrick?
I assume there's a phase 3 that would,
Yes, that will be the building phase,
the building phase.
construction.
Do we have any idea what a
they would
ballpark on that might look like?
Yes, right.
Just really rough numbers?
Well, what we have right now as far as design, and this is what we're looking at. So we're looking at a park
Magic.
structure across from where the really beautiful Civil War Memorial is. As you know, that's right. It's on King Street. That's the triangle that's in front of the very historic Congregational Church, which is the foundational church. This is the foundational area in our town. So we're building a structure there, kind of per their collaboration. And then there's that common green there. So then we're talking about having an ADA accessible passageway with some beautiful adult swing sets. This is going to be a passive recreation park. And then end up with, at what they're calling the Glen, which will include an art piece. There will be a walkway that routes back up to Main Street up there. So they're looking at several $100,000 for the construction phase. This is the design, final construction-ready documents for that part.
It does say the construction is $675,000.
So this is just the design phase, and this is just a conceptual.
This was
Initial
the
design.
conceptual part.
Was that part of phase one? Or did he just do this
Correct.
in order to?
Nope, this was, the conceptual design was phase one.
Okay.
With the knotweed
Technically,
destruction.
that's all been paid for.
Yes.
Next, and I heard you say something about 675,000?
No, I just wanted to take a second, I've just kind of reviewed a little bit, was there, and I have a couple of questions about, was there other alternative designs, or this was the only design?
Well, we took.
I mean, I know I wasn't here for a lot of it, so I'm just kind of.
Yep. We reached out to several design groups and took the one that was affordable for the conceptual design phase, which was these guys. They've done some beautiful properties in several other towns. I can share some of those sites with you. They're working with us on some of the historical aspects, which include the Congregational Church and many of the transportation motifs that we have in town. This area is right across from the Underground Railroad, for example. It's part of the trolley line that we had in town. I don't know if you know anything. I don't know how many people in this room watch What's Up Groveland, but in our last episode for February.
Shameless plug.
Huh? No, but in our last episode, even this was news to me. Groveland was a globally renowned shipbuilding site. And so this is all part of our transportation motif that we plan to highlight in the park. Ships in Groveland. I had no idea.
Yeah, the river's right there, makes sense.
I know, but like huge ships.
Down behind Estes, over behind the property that Shanahan owns, like Sheehan, there's still piles. right
There's
there.
a sunken ship, the LV-1, right across from Marston's Landing. A sunken ship. I had no idea.
I'm going to watch What's Up Groveland. You've convinced me.
Okay, good.
But in the interest of speeding things along, Mike, any questions?
So I think that we should limit this project to only tap into historic preservation funds rather than the other two categories, because we've got so many other recreation under that category, and that, those are taken from only the general fund, unfortunately. So by funding this from historic money, we'll keep more of the recreation in the general funds available for all the other recreational projects. If you want to ask the coalition, I don't believe that this is able to be funded by open space money.
I don't believe, I've had the same theory that it couldn't be funded by open space,
Yeah.
but it certainly falls on historic, and
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah.
Question on that, though, as I, looking at the chart.
Yeah.
If we use historic funds for this phase of the project.
Yeah.
And the next phase of the project is now $700,000, can we use?
General fund.
I think we can
General,
use a mix of
We
it.
can choose what we want to
Yeah.
take it out of it? As long as it meets the criteria?
Correct.
Okay. Because I know we talked about the purchase of the property was used with other funds.
Yes.
Correct? So jumping around that's, you said the board would have to.
Discretion,
confirm that.
if you will.
It's our discretion, okay. And this is I think Arthur just had it. Stephanie, this was the only conceptual design they gave us, right? They didn't give us any other options or other outlines, or, hey, maybe this or maybe that and throw it, or this is.
We had a a community meeting with the design, were you at that meeting? I feel like you were at that meeting. And it was like one of the best attended community meetings that I've had, including many, many abutters. And they presented many ideas at that meeting, and with the collaboration of a lot of the people who were there, including Pastor Donna and some of the church people who are right across the street and very interested in the project because it's Perry Park, named after, again, a foundational family. That we adjusted some of the design based on some of that collaboration.
Okay.
Leah, any questions?
Yeah, I have a question about the use of the land. Is there a plan for more public use, or is this going to be all passive recreation?
Well, so there will be a small building that will be able to be used by the public. The swings, it's passive.
Small building,
The gazebo.
it's like
that will-
this little, this thing over here.
Yeah, it's a gazebo, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be someplace, it's meant to be a quiet enjoyment space, which is unlike the Pines, which is actively in use for basketball and skateboarding and pickleball and dog park and football and all that stuff. It's a little bit different from VZ Park, which is more outdoor recreation and trails and things like that. This is like a park, it's a pocket park in the neighborhood.
You don't want a concert venue there?
I would rather not have a concert.
Right.
I mean, it would be hard with 113 right there anyway, so.
Anything else?
Yes, but go on, and
I'll circle back
I'll
to you.
rethink my question.
So, as I'm looking at the design, off the gazebo, there's the parking that's on Main Street, and then there's the sidewalk there, right? That's typically all dirt right now, right? Is that a sidewalk? Is that like a paved?
I'm trying to find my little
This
map.
is where
Yeah.
the monument is, right?
It's
Monument, yeah.
that area. We're talking about redesigning how the flow of traffic goes through there. So there's planning on a crosswalk there and hopefully a crosswalk over at the other entrance at the other end.
Yep.
As far as that area right there.
So right at the edge of this crosswalk where it comes up.
Yep, I see where you're talking about, and I think we're talking about having that be grass, like lawn.
Okay. Because that's where they park a lot of
Right, we
cars
would have
over
to
there, right?
redesign that whole parking area over
Right,
there,
that's,
yeah.
and it is, are we going, so it's not shown as parking,
Correct.
it's all grass, so, but I know the
Correct.
church parks a lot of cars over there when they
Yeah,
have
so
events.
they plan to redesign the flow of the traffic right there on King Street anyway to slow traffic down to some extent as well, but to include some parking along that area there between the side that's on Union Street and the Triangle side.
And I only mention it because if this is a walking path that
Mm-hmm.
comes through, but yet we're gonna have cars that,
Not parked on there, because that's all going to be a green.
okay, well, it's green now, right? Kind of dirt.
It is,
green.
but it is used as parking lot, so this is going to be passive recreation.
So they would lose all that parking and church is okay with that?
The church is aware of our plans. They have
Okay.
been very involved all along, yep.
Yeah, because, when you drive by, kids go to Perry Park, so
Mm-hmm.
there is a lot of parking over there that overflow on that grass. So if we're gonna do the landscaping over there,
Mm-hmm.
that's obviously a loss of a lot of parking.
Yes, it's a park, though. It's not meant to be a parking lot.
Yeah, okay. And that's gonna meant to be just grass pathway, not.
That's going to
type
be
of-
native plantings, so we're going to have soft landings under new trees. We're going to have a fern landscape. This is going to be a meadow with wildflowers.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Can I interest you in some boulders to keep the cars off the landscape?
Adam says they're free.
I've plenty of rocks.
So I do have a question on maintenance on this. It's not something, I don't know if that was conversation came up with these low understory shrubs, perennials, and grasses. How are those maintained? And
Well,
who's going to maintain them?
that is a very good question. The plan that we have had all along since the very initial presentation was low or no maintenance. So they're going to be native plants that should not require maintenance. They should not require watering except for perhaps the first season. We're planning on getting wood chips in there so we can mulch and prevent some of the weed growth that's going in there right now with some of the dock and stuff that's growing. So it should be low or no maintenance. If anything, there might be something along the ADA trail, but we're still in discussion about
And the
that.
stone dust you're proposing is, how long do you think that's a permanent stone dust?
Yes, it should be one of those compacted ADA
We'd
accessible.
have to fix, that'd be something we'd maintain.
Potentially, we have to talk to them about that. Yeah.
Is there a Friends of Perry Park that do have some type of funding for if you plan on having a lot of plantings and say you want to mulch, where those funds would come from? Is there,
Well,
I don't know if there is.
I don't plan on mulching long-term because that's the purpose of, mulch is not actually good for plants. It keeps them in a permanent phase that you don't need them to be in. You just need, what I need to do is kill the things that are growing there right now, which is dockweed and things that we don't want, thistles and stuff like that are not native. So long-term mulch we won't need once we have soft plantings and native grasses and things like that. I mean, might have to go through and like do some initial weeding at first, but I mean, the plan is to have the native plantings that don't require maintenance.
And that's why, when you say "we," and Arthur's asking.
Well, me and the
about
design group.
maintenance. And that's why I'm asking if Perry Park has some type of
Don't.
coalition, that Friends of Perry Park.
Yeah,
that would
it's
be-
me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If-
The only friend.
Yeah.
If I mean,
Lonely though, so if you're volunteering, DJ.
if I can make the suggestion to, maybe let's include Arthur in some of this planning where it's ultimately going to fall on him in the highway
Oh, yeah,
department.
I don't know if you noticed, but he's one of the, with Rebecca, decision makers.
Yeah.
Right, like I said,
The thing, the issue is that the decision wasn't made on the installation of what you guys are gonna put together. It wasn't a collaborative process. So if I have a stone dust walkway, that's gonna require us yearly maintenance of that.
This is a conceptual design. It was Rebecca, myself,
Yeah.
and the design group
Yeah, so we
putting
have-
together a conceptual design.
again, if this project moves forward and as we're laying it out and coming up with construction designs, Arthur should very much be a part of those conversations.
Yep.
In his,
He-
argument is.
he has-
He's gonna be the one stuck maintaining it.
Absolutely, and he was part of my
You should have a
initial,
seat at the table.
he has been part of my initial discussion. So very early on, he was aware of this project. He just was
it's-
not part of the design group discussion.
Yeah.
Understood.
I do have, I just wanna, from looking at it and reviewing it, and I understand the purpose of it and making it a pocket park, but where the park is located and its value to the town, I would suggest maybe having a place there to allow the town to have certain events, like, Pumpkin Fest or.
Oh, that's what the Pines is for.
No, but the Pines is more of like for recreation and playing sports, but it's just because it's such a central location, maybe allow this common green area to have, ability to host events and stuff, and people can park around, like the different common areas around other towns,
Farmers Market.
farmers markets.
Farmers market.
Yeah, I mean, there is a
children's,
gazebo there.
Children's events.
But one of the main purposes of this that we don't have anywhere else really in town is talking about, is helping people to learn more about rain gardens, about what different things you can do in your own backyard, bat houses, what this tree does for wildlife, the importance of this plant in your backyard.
You can do both. You can do both. You can just have some
dark sky.
You can do both in this area. I'm saying just have an area where you can have things that be a place of gathering for the citizens.
Well, it sounds like,
I feel like this is more of a.
Noted,
more to-
as
yes,
part of the
design, yes.
Right.
So I don't want to burn up
Thank you.
much more. Any other questions on this one?
That was my question about the, public use of the land for
I mean, it makes sense if, you know, if, you know, one area that was grass where you could.
Yep,
it could
we've
still
had
be
Not for
passive.
ruckus,
But you
nobody's gonna
could-
play rock and roll over there, or, you know, it's not like that, but like a farmer's market is a good example, or a
Well,
craft.
honestly, even a place to throw a blanket out and have a picnic.
That's the whole point of this park.
I don't want to be sitting on ferns, those don't sound very comfortable.
Well, that's not the whole thing. That's this
And look-
one section over here.
No, fair enough. Ed, did you have any questions?
Nope.
Oh, Ed froze.
No, not at this time.
All right, thank you. Elaine, anything? Okay. All right, I guess that will, sounds like there's a lot to be hashed out in the
Design about the
design about the design. And I just would urge you to get Arthur involved in it.
Yep, we've had
Whereas-
many public meetings.
Yeah, even with the, I saw the stairs going down on the other side. Is this something that you're gonna attempt to maintain during the winter? Are they gonna have to shovel these things?
There's already some stairs over there, so I think we just have to,
I'm not familiar with the parks.
yeah,
I'm
it's,
just,
we have to figure out the design still,
yeah, but is the intent to have this a 4 seasons year-round?
potentially,
Alright, so I mean, there's snow removal questions that are gonna come up as well.
for sure, yeah. Snow removal. It's one of my favorite topics.
They can just take the money they're already spending
I have-
on maintaining the park and use it for that,
Right.
right?
I don't know. I don't know. Just things to think about, things to chew on. All right, thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Sorry we
guys.
kept you waiting so long.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have Pines Lighting. So I'm gonna take the first swing at this, but then I'll probably have Rebecca and Arthur and Patrick and anyone else who wants to fall on the sword with me. So this is a request for $1.65 million to install infrastructure and lighting and be able to light all the different areas over at the Pines. It will involve installing lighting for the football practice fields, installing lighting for the pickleball and tennis courts and playground areas, install lighting for the baseball field, replace the lighting on the softball field, install lighting for the basketball and skate park. The estimate is high. The estimate is high on purpose because it's gonna have to be funded in a different kind of way. We had discussed possibly bonding the project in order to get the cost down, which is allowable through the CPA. We could indeed take a loan out and then pay it back, or we could choose to chop this up into pieces and do it a section at a time. The only thing I'm concerned about at that is if we do that and, we chop it up and do it as the funds are available, is that it's going to get maybe halfway done and never get finished. And then, all that money spent on the infrastructure and engineering, which would be the first part of the project, would not end up getting followed through and used because we either didn't have the money or something better came along. I'm not one way or the other. It's, whatever the board sees fit, whichever way you want to proceed. I'm sure everybody has an opinion on it, but I think at that point, I'll leave it at that and open it up for questions, unless, Rebecca, if you wanted to add anything.
No, not necessarily. I think that you kind of summed it all up. We do and have done some initial research into the bonding capacity of the town with taking a look at CPC. Initial calculations show that we would be, or have the capacity to bond up to an annual allocation of $139,000 each year to fund that project. Interest is a little bit high based upon what we're currently seeing in the market, so you are looking at approximately, on the original estimate, about $1 million in interest, which is not ideal, but it is something that will help provide the funding upfront for the project in its entirety, and allow the CPC specifically to pay that back through its allocation. So it is definitely an option for the CPC to consider.
Did you misspeak on the bond amount?
So when you fill out the bond capacity sheet, it essentially is stating that we have the capacity. So what you can do is that you have to take into consideration the revenue and the surcharge that we have. So each community has a different surcharge. You can go up to 3%, so we have the 3% surcharge. So it's based upon that revenue, and you cannot include the state match that we receive as part of that, obviously, in my conversations with the chair, because it's not guaranteed. You don't know if that match is going to be there. So you can't include that, and then you also have to reduce that revenue amount by the total set-asides that we have to do at town meeting. And that gets you your figure of how much you're able to bond against. And then based upon the, 4.5% assumed interest rate in a life of like 20 years, you're looking at about a bond payment of about $139,000 a year.
Gotcha.
And that was on a principal of 1.8.
Correct.
So that's a little heavy, and maybe we wouldn't need to borrow all of it because we have some of it. So, those numbers, that's what we can borrow up to. not-
Exactly.
And you're not obligated to pay in the time schedule. You could prepay and all that sort of stuff.
Well, it depends on the bonding terms, but at the same time, to the chair's point, you could put down X amount of dollars and reduce how much you would actually need to bond for. So there's different mechanisms that you can go by, but if you're looking at worst case scenario, that's what you're looking at for an allocation over the next 20 years.
Gotcha.
All right.
Are there any user fees? Thank you. Are there any user fees for the people who are using these lights and fields?
So currently, we do charge those who use the softball field for the lights. They don't technically use them all the time, but there is a user fee just for those lights. All the other lights are paid for by the town.
Could there be a user fee?
I think
There
we
would
would
be.
incorporate,
Yeah, yeah.
well,
would-
That
reassess
would
the
absolutely
user
be true.
fees.
You would have,
Sorry, say it again?
I believe we would reassess the user fees for all the spaces,
Yeah,
to help cover the operational
Yeah,
costs
100%,
and maintenance of it.
you would have to.
Yeah. Okay, that was my question.
Kim, any questions?
No.
Linda?
No.
Patrick?
None at this time.
Mike?
Yes, so, thinking about not bonding this, we have experience with another project in the past that was, not only was expensive, not certainly as expensive as this, and it wasn't really, useful to bond it, but it was, multi-year breakdowns of things, was the community trail. And as Rebecca knows, I think we had to go, what was it, 4 times, we had to go back to the well to get money, and it was painful to do. Every time you had to convince people, just like you did in the beginning, that this project was worth it. And so that's what we're looking at if we don't bond it. So it's like, I think, it's unfortunate that we have to pay, the interest that goes along with it. But I mean, this is a big project. This is the largest project that we would have ever done. So, I mean, it kind of fits into the bonding category.
And I think Adam's point about, doing a hybrid situation where you pay some now and bond some
Down.
might be a better road, in the sense that, you'd be able to get that working.
Yeah, and I haven't completely thrown out the fact that maybe we can, and I obviously have to run it through council and whatnot, but maybe we can approve it as a whole project and fund it in stages on our own.
Right.
Rather, so we don't have to vote
then
on
you
it
don't-
every time.
And so you don't have to incur the interest of a bond.
Right, so I mean, this,
I don't think you can do that.
well, it's certainly worth,
No, I
the
mean,
service of looking into.
we can ask the question, but I don't think so.
DJ?
Yeah, so, a couple of comments. 1.6, it's a lot of money. I think the bonding, if we can cut it down a little bit, $1 million in interest is a lot for the town. I think the first thing you have to ask is this something that the town needs, right? Is the lighting, and this is general talk, right? Is it something that the town needs to put lighting down at the Pines? I personally think that the Pines is a great recreational place. We've grown it out, and it would be fantastic. It would kind of be like that, the icing on the cake with having lighting down there, all over when we do Pumpkin Fest, and we do all the different other events as well.
Groveland
Lighting,
Day,
it's dark. Groveland Days, the football field, they rent gas-generated lights right now. We could, alleviate that, and we have the cost charging them more, or however we have to do things. But as the town thinks about, if we bring this to town, do we need it now? But if we say, no, this isn't something we need now, we've seen in the past, in all of our projects across town, being on planning and everything else, the cost of everything goes up, right? We looked at Shanahan back in the day, it was discussed about maybe doing the parking lot, and then we waited, and then it went up however many hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the longer, if it's something that we want to do for the town, can we really wait, right? And that's where we have to weigh all those options out. So just kind of food for thought there. Like I said, I'm all for putting lighting down there. It's just the funding around it that's gonna have to be figured out.
For sure. Leah, any questions? Ed?
No questions.
Elaine?
No.
All right.
And as we said, I think the biggest issue that we have from just an operational standpoint is a lot of what me and Arthur do on a day-to-day basis, and as you've seen in different capacities, is that we do our planning first before we move forward. It does help provide a more structured pathway forward. I do agree with what the board is saying, that, the price of things has increased, but like we had just seen with the Perry Park, the Perry Park estimate is based on a conceptual, which is not necessarily a defined set of money that's going to cost to actually construct the project. Once they do the design, once they do the actual physical construction documents, an actual estimate will be attached to each one of those quantities. That will give us a very real project price. So that's the only thing that I would just caution, is that I get very nervous when you start putting a design build together without having a set design and construction documents done.
I live in the world, and, design build is kind of the way a lot of things are going. I understand it's way easier to know ahead of time, but it also, if we wait a whole nother year, the cost of these things, especially with the tariffs and commodity prices.
And I totally agree. I'm just putting it on the record because when we do municipal work, obviously the CPC is not taxpayer dollars per se, but when we use taxpayer dollars to move forward with construction projects, it just, from a comfort level, makes me feel a lot more comfortable knowing that we've done our due diligence. We've invested the time and the expertise to get you an engineered plan to know exactly what it is that the taxpayer is getting in the long run. But I completely agree with that. It's just, again, that's just my training.
And does this have to go through procurement for bid?
It would,
All three, right?
100%.
All three, okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best strategy, is to get a full design and then phase it out, but, that's something you guys decide. I also would suggest, vetting a lot of that information that you have with us, because we have to maintain it at the end with the design. I think it should be more collaborative. I think, obviously, we're going to inherit all this infrastructure, and we're going to need to be ahead of it. So, obviously, with us and the light department too, they'll.
Yep, no, we're all,
Yeah, you're on the application also.
I know that. Well, yeah, I was also on the other application, and I have no idea.
We understand.
we walked this, we talked.
All right, I just let you know, like I was,
Yeah.
the names get thrown around on applications where.
I understand,
I asked permission, talk to your boss.
No, I understand. No, I just,
100%.
okay.
All right. All right, moving on, next one, trail improvements 2026.
Okay, well, I can make this easy, provided we can talk about trail improvements 2025.
Yes, please.
So I have, and each of you on the board have received a revised budget for the 2025 project. What I can tell you and happily say is that the revised budget is the same as the initial budget in dollar value, meaning it's not going to cost any more to do this project with the things we know now versus what we thought at the very, very beginning. It's just that the numbers of what various line items cost had changed significantly. So this is a more accurate and complete estimate that we're very comfortable with as far as what we expect things to cost from here on out. And what I will also say is, I think we have done a good job of getting some donated time, some donated effort that has brought some costs down on some components. And we expect to continue to do that. We've got someone that's going to be building the kiosks for us. We've already ordered the materials for those. And we're able to save a little bit of money on that. We've already replaced Meadow Pond Bridge number 1. A lot of people are happy about that because it was out of commission and not usable for a time. So that's good news. But we've begun to purchase various of these items and start to get things together. It's all in good shape, but I just wanted to make sure that the board was okay with us using this revised budget, which is the same, total dollars as the initial budget. And if that's the case, then we can close out the Trails Improvement in 2026 because those items will be covered under 2025.
And you added the additional bridge in as well?
The bridge is included in this budget.
But that wasn't on the original project?
The permit certainly was.
It wasn't spelled out. It was in there, but it was covered by lumber category.
No, fair, but
Right.
we're doing something that wasn't necessarily fact.
It wasn't explicitly stated, but it's definitely covered.
No, I understand it's kind of.
No, under the initial budget.
Okay, I.
Right.
Okay.
But in the interest of transparency, we wanted to make sure that we had provided a revised budget that tells you exactly where, how the sausage is getting made.
No, and I appreciate that. Could I trouble you for a schedule to go with this?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's no trouble at all, is what I mean, and I'm happy to provide that to you.
And just estimated schedule, because what we were talking about, this was a 3-year project.
Oh, no. So this is all in works, and I think this is 2026 stuff.
But I think that the entire project can be done by the end of 2027,
I think that's true.
right?
But
Just maybe we're gonna do this next to this next. I know, because I know you guys
100%.
walked it and you had like,
well, some of the recent plan has been a little scuttled by the 2 feet of snow we got.
it snowed?
But yes, where we are right now is we're ordering product. And the very next thing that's gonna happen is ordering all the substantial hardware, the benches, the dog waste stations, the trash cans. That's the stuff that has to come in from away, and then we'll get installed and all that good stuff. And so that is looking to be, summer to fall. And so other than that, it's building these things and getting them installed as we go. And I think, Mike, the timing on the connector bridge, that permitting, how long should that take, roughly?
Maybe a month. It just depends.
Yeah, and then,
A month or two.
right. So this is not, deep into the future. We're making progress, and we'll keep you posted.
Excellent. All right, I have no problem going with that and withdrawing the other application.
Yeah, that's perfectly okay. Do we have to vote on withdrawing?
No, you proposed that you can withdraw it. We can take a informal poll here if everybody's all right with the new budget.
Does it have to be a agenda item to discuss it, or no?
No, it's the trail enhancement project. It's the trail improvements, trail enhancement project. It's on there anyway. I'm
Okay.
happy with it.
Okay.
Any thoughts or theories? Anybody opposed to the idea of reallocating the funds within the budget to accomplish the said goals?
As long as it's legal.
Ed, Elaine, any issues?
None.
All right, I would say, go ahead and move forward.
Well, can we take a vote on it? Mike and I will abstain?
Sure. If someone would like to make a motion.
Sure.
I'll make the motion to approve the new cost allocations for the trail enhancement project.
Second.
All right, now I'll take the vote. Kim?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
DJ?
I
Abstain.
abstain.
I'm yes. Mike?
Abstain.
DJ?
Yes.
Yep.
Leah, yes. Ed?
Yes,
Elaine?
Yes.
Okay, approved. Fine.
Excellent. On that, I would withdraw the Trails Project 2026.
Project withdrawn. Thank you for being able to squeeze that all in there and getting us where we needed to be. Excellent. All right, next up, update from town administrator. We got a live update today.
Nice.
Yes, I do not have much to update the board on, just to let you know that I submitted the cemetery preservation closeout report. I will also be submitting to you for your next meeting on March 9th, the Shanahan Fields Access Improvement, Pines Recreation Area Access Improvements, Pickleball, Tennis Courts, and the Skate Park at the Pines closeout report. So you'll have all of those before you to officially take a vote and close out. In regards to the shade structures have been delivered to the highway yard. We are in receipt, and the installation is planned for the spring. And then in regards to the affordable housing project, we have been working with the CPC, the consultant and his associates on trying to put together a plan. We did hit a small roadblock in terms of the small repairs program and whether or not we would be able to utilize CPC fundings. But we did get some really solid feedback in regards to the creation of an affordable housing trust. And they did give us some information in regards to surplus properties for affordable housing, as well as potential for other repair type programs that we could possibly take advantage of. That being said, I am meeting with the consultant tomorrow. We are hoping to finalize the plan. At that point in time, I will be sending that over to the CPC chair to distribute to the board, and we would like to have the consultant in at your next meeting to make an official presentation. At that point in time, the board can decide whether or not it would like to move forward with the creation of an affordable housing trust, and we can get the bylaw situated and drafted for inclusion on this year's town meeting warrant.
When is the warrant, when are warrant items due this year?
I'm sorry?
When are warrant items due, like, just so we have a general idea of like, what's the clock ticking?
So essentially, it's up until we post the warrant, but essentially, the realistic timeline is the end of March. I wouldn't go any further than the end of March, just because we have to include it in the warrant, we have to review it by town council, we need to make sure everything's good to go, and then we need the select board to sign off. So I would say the last day of March would be the definite end date.
For sure, thanks.
All right. Thank you for that, appreciate it. Next up, we have approval of minutes. I did not provide the minutes, so we can't approve them, so I'm just going to put a pin in that till next meeting if you'll allow. Then we have set date and time for next meeting. I'm actually going to do the next two meetings. The next meeting is March 9th, 2026 at 6:30 PM. And the following meeting is going to be March 23rd, 2026 at 6:30 PM. And we have to have the projects voted on that March 23rd. I'm going to present to the Finance Board on the 25th and the Select Board on the 30th. So whatever we're going to do is on that, going to have to be situated by that March 23rd.
Another meeting this month?
What's that?
Didn't we have two meetings set up for February?
No, that was January, I think.
That was January. It was January, but then the snow and then. All right, let's move on to other items not reasonably anticipated.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I have none.
Do we want to do the project closeout that we got, or do you want to, guys want to wait till next? All right, we'll hold that project closeout till next meeting, Rebecca, if that's fine.
We can do that next one.
Yeah. All right, I have nothing. Mike?
No.
DJ?
Nope.
Leah? Ed?
All good.
Elaine? All right.
I just have a question. Did we close out, or was that the VZ lighting project removed because it was determined that it was not
We
in
never-
keeping?
We never received an application for that project.
Oh, we did not,
Nope.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right,
I'll move to close the meeting at this o'clock,
9:35.
9:37.
9:37.
Second?
All right, we got to do the roll call vote. Kim?
Close.
Linda?
Close.
Patrick?
Aye.
Me, aye. Mike? DJ?
Yes.
Leah? Ed?
Yes.
Elaine?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned, 9:37 PM. Thank you all for your time.
Thanks,
See you
everybody.
March 9th.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good job.